Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, you're all awake. That's good. It's always good not to be the first. The second, that's the best position, the presentations. So hello to everyone. My name is Alon. I am today the VP Product and Intelligence at Insight. Insight is a company that provides a solution for one-stop shop for threat intelligence, building your threat intelligence bottom up for everything you need. I would like to start a bit with my background. Okay, maybe it will help you understand why I chose this specific topic. I started my cybersecurity or cyber career at the Israeli Army, at the Intelligence Corps. There I was a cyber analyst, and then I was also a cyber intelligence officer, leading all types of cyber offensive operations, okay, on behalf of the Intelligence Corps. So I know a bit about nation state intelligence or cyber intelligence. And I'd be happy today to talk to you about how threat intelligence, or more specifically, open source intelligence, meaning collecting intelligence from the web, both clear web and dark web, can help you, fight against nation-state attacks. So, in the past week, I was, going around talking to people, telling them about this presentation. Okay, I'm going to tell people how they can help themselves, fight nation-state attacks with commercial threat intelligence, with intelligence from the clear and dark web. And they told me, most of the reactions were well, okay, so you're going to stand up and say, well, you can't, it's impossible. So this was their reaction. And actually, it's a reaction that I had a chance to hear a lot from partners, from customers telling me, okay, that's great. You can tell me about cyber criminals. You can tell me about a Russian teenager sitting in his mother's basement and talking on chats and forums. But I need you, like my other security devices, like as part of my security strategy, I need you to help me fight against nation-state attacks. Okay, this is what I'm worried about. Okay, and I think that your platform cannot help me with that. And I kind of hear it pretty a lot from basically, people from all around the world, all types of industries, from security guys that, I know a lot about security, and this question keeps on popping up all the time. And it actually kind of makes sense. Okay, why it makes sense? Because when you talk about open source intelligence and collecting intelligence from the clear web and dark web, okay, so we're actually trying to expose hackers' collaborations, plans, what are they talking to each other, and you're actually very focused on understanding things and understanding threats before they occur, okay, and understanding how they collaborate, what do they plan, things like that. And when you think about nation-state actors, you think about people sitting in some basement, in China or in North Korea, and planning, collaborating, and obviously they won't go to the dark web, to forums, to places like that to collaborate, because they have their own private networks, they have their own private phone lines, and you actually won't be able to find them on the dark web. So when you take these two notions together, you get to a conclusion, or maybe you get to a conclusion, that open source intelligence from the clear web and dark web cannot help you with nation-state attacks. And what I would like to do in today's presentation is first to give you very briefly about the process of reconnaissance by a nation-state, okay, how it looks like, and then walk you through a 4-step process of building a threat intelligence program to fight nation-state attacks. Okay, this would be the goal of the presentation and the outline. So let's start. Okay, very briefly about first phases of attack by a nation-state. So if you look, usually when you talk about the flow of attack, people usually talk about the cyber kill chain, right? Cyber kill chain, you have reconnaissance, weaponization, and then all the other phases. Okay? Here, when we talk about threat intelligence from the dark web, we need to focus on the reconnaissance and what this reconnaissance really encompasses and holds inside. Okay, so when you talk about reconnaissance, you talk about, first of all, about the motive. When we talk about nation state, they can have many types of motives, whether it's cause damage, gather intelligence, or even things that are more complicated like supporting other efforts. Then you go to the stage of choosing a target. Okay? And this is something that's very, very important to understand when you talk about nation states. So when you talk about cyber criminals, they look for money. They don't care if they steal money from JP Morgan Chase or from Wells Fargo. They don't care, right? Money is money. It's always the same color, always green. So they don't care. But people think, okay, when we talk about nation state actors, they care, right? They want to pinpoint someone very, very specific. This is the common notion. But what I'm trying to, I would like to point out is that that's not always true. Okay? That's not always true for two reasons. First of all, you don't always care, where you bring information from. Okay? You want information, you can get it from 2, 3, 4 organizations. You don't care. Second, let's say you want to cause damage as a nation state. You don't care if it's, I don't know, if you cause damage to the electric infrastructure or to the telecom infrastructure of a country. You don't care. You want to cause damage. So when you talk about nation states and choosing their targets, it's not always a very specific target, and they will try to get it in any price. Okay? They have some flexibility to choose a target, and we'll talk immediately how we can influence this choosing target process. Then you have development and infrastructure, okay, actually building the tools for the attack. Here, by the way, dark web monitoring is extremely important to identify what type of tools and attacks the nation state is going to use. I'll explain later, how you can do it. And then you have the part of the reconnaissance, actually going online to the surface and exploring your target. How does its digital footprint looks like? What type of vulnerabilities I can find from the outside? And this is the part of the reconnaissance where you decide on the how you're going to attack and get data that can help you on this attack. And then you start, the other stage of the attack. But since threat intelligence is focused on, or at least open source intelligence is focused on detecting what is the motive, what is the target that's going to be chosen, what is the tools that are going to be used, and the reconnaissance. So we'll focus on these first stages and explain how open source intelligence and dark web monitoring can help you influence these stages and also expose what your attacker is looking into. Okay. So now we'll start with what I describe as a 4-step bottom to up threat intelligence program to fight against nation state attacks. Okay. Step 1, okay, is more conceptual. It's a concept, okay? A concept of how you can protect yourself against nation-state attacks. So, like I said, many people think that nation-state, they choose a target, they choose to attack AT&T, and they don't care about anything until they will attack AT&T, until they hack it, until they get the information, they will do anything to do it, and that's it. So that's not 100% correct, like I mentioned earlier. Because many times, you can get your information from different places. I will tell you another thing, tell you a bit about psychology of a nation-state attacker, okay? So let's say you have a goal, and you want to show achievements, right? What happened? I clicked something? Whoa. Your PC ran into a problem. Yeah, I need to move to Mac. Maybe. Okay. Okay, I'll continue, and I hope it will just, I don't know, fix itself. Okay, a bit about psychology of a nation-state attacker, okay? So, many times you need to show achievements to your bosses, okay, to your commanders. I want to show achievement that I was managed to get, like, amazing data, okay, from our enemy. So many times, I'll start exploring and I find something interesting, okay, that I can find that a specific company, telecom company, for example. So they told me, we need to get, like, telecom companies telecom companies in the US, and AT&T is the biggest, go for AT&T, okay? But now I started exploring, and I find that another telecom has some kind of vulnerability, or they're exposed in a specific manner. So, many times, think of the psychology of an attacker, I would go for the easy way to show achievements, okay? So even if I don't manage to do AT&T, at least I'll bring a different telecom, so it look okay. So many times, they're human beings, and they have their psychology, and they want success, and they want to show achievements. So many times, they would explore, do reconnaissance, and find out that maybe different telecom can be interesting, and they focus their efforts on other telecom company or on your competitor, basically. So once you understand that, a second. Sorry for that. Yeah, I told you I need to move to Mac. Okay. Okay, so till it's uploading. So once you understand that, you realize that it's very important to understand how you look in comparison to your competitors. That's something that's extremely important to understand. So I get to hear a lot of times people talking about benchmark and how much it's important. But usually it comes from a place where you want to assess how good you are, because you cannot know, like, objectively, how you are. You need to compare yourself. So you want to know how you perform, how your team perform, how your CISO perform. When I hear, people talking about benchmark, I hear people talking about these type of things, assessing how good I am as a security guy. But I think, and I don't get to hear people talking about benchmark as a crucial security metrics that can help you understand how much, you're protected. And actually making sure that on a benchmark you look better is not just to know you're good, you're bad, you're doing good job, you're not doing good job. It's actually making sure that you always look better than your competitors. So when a potential attacker wants to choose a target, okay, he'll choose a different company. He chooses your competitor over you. So benchmark is not only to know how good you are. It's actually something you need to monitor all the time and making sure your competitors always look worse than you. And I'll give you an example. So I took our platform, okay? I took two telecom companies, pretty much same size, same revenues, same brand recognition level, okay? Pretty close. And I just throw their data into our platform. And so what pops up? Okay, so when we talk about leaked credentials, okay, so one has like 1,200 leaked credentials, and the other one has 1,400. Then I went to see, on the dark web, how many the employees are mentioned on the dark web as part of target lists, targeting them for phishing. And one had 18, one had 34. Okay? So when you look at that, you can definitely tell that, the potential of the, let's call it the blue telecom company to be attacked is a lot higher. Because when I'm as an attacker, now want to harvest employees' email addresses, and I want to use credentials to maybe try to log into their systems, I would definitely, go for the telecom company that I have, more data to work with, okay, more credentials to work with, more email addresses that I can send, phishing campaigns to. So this is extremely important, like the attacker is doing this benchmark, not always consciously, but he's doing that. Every security guy should also do benchmark to make sure that he's not being chosen as a target, and his competitor is being chosen as a target before him. And that, here I also want to maybe drill down a bit to the nation-state attacks motivations. Okay, so I can tell you that when you talk about causing damage, so what I say completely makes sense. You don't care who you cause damage to, right? You want to cause damage to the United States, it doesn't matter if you go to AT&T, Verizon, or, I don't know, a different telecom company. Okay, you want to cause damage, you want everyone to talk about this attack and how this telecom, was attacked. You don't care too much which telecom company. So for causing damage, it completely makes sense. But what I want to assert is that also for gathering intelligence, many times, I don't really care is it for a specific company or for a different company. Because if I target a specific person, okay, I might target, his webmail provider, his telecom provider, or some other, provider you're working with. I don't care. I want information about the person. So also here, in these cases of when the nation state want to collect intelligence, it's important that it would choose a different company over you. So the first step was actually, doing the benchmark and making sure that your digital footprint looks better than your competitors. That's step one. Step two, get into the attacker's shoes. Okay? So when we talk about getting to the attacker's shoes, we talk about, going and do reconnaissance like he does. That's the basic concept. And actually go and test your own digital footprint and see what's exposed out there and what the attacker can see about your organization out there that can help him. So like credential leakage is really the obvious, and private details that has been leaked, and this type of stuff being published on Pastebin, I would say this is the obvious. Okay? I want to talk more and emphasize a different point of digital footprint, of actually using regular search engines like Google, like Yahoo, Bing, in order to detect where you're exposed and see what an attacker can find and use on his next attack. These type of things we call exploitable data, okay? Or I call exploitable data. What does it mean? It means trying to use search engines, not only Shodan, which is also we are a lot, but also actually using Google, things like that, and see, when you're using these type of search engines, what can you find? And I can tell you that every nation-state attacks is utilizing Google. I can promise you that. Every attacker doing reconnaissance using Google as one of his first 2-3 steps in order to see what's exposed out there and what can potentially help him. So take this example. It took me 5 minutes to find it, no more. It's from a governmental website, actually, exposing his directory listing of files behind his website. Okay? That for itself is extremely dangerous. But you can see all the files behind the website, and based on that, find vulnerabilities. Okay? That's something very dangerous for itself. And very quickly, so let's say I target this governmental organization. I found this. I will say, okay, interesting. I'll go this way. Not through the front gate, not through their main website. I'll go through, the back doors. But what's even more interesting in this finding is that down here, you have I don't know if you can see it, but you have the version of their server. Okay, Apache Tomcat 6.0.24, okay? So, I don't have internet connection. Sorry, I need to connect to the internet again. Just want to show you how easy it is. Okay. Apache Tomcat 6.0.24. Okay. I just Google it, and third result in Google, Apache Tomcat version 6.0.24, security vulnerabilities, CVE details. Jackpot. Okay. And this is why it's very important, for an organization to monitor this type of stuff, to actually, utilize Google, okay, and find what the potential attacker, when he's looking at your digital footprint, looking from the outside, what can he find? What type of exploitable data can be found out there, and actually remove it, because these type of things will cause a nation-state attacker to choose you as a target and go through this part of your website inside. I'll give you another example. This thing, okay? A complete scheme of all the databases behind the website. Okay, this is like a shout, come and use SQL injection to hack my website. This is actually screaming it outside loudly, okay, in the center of the city, in the center of the internet. Okay, come hack me. Look, you have all the details about all the schemes, behind my SQL database. Okay, so when you monitor your digital footprint, you need to find these type of things that your IT guys left open by mistake. Okay, IT guys not always aware of these type of things. So this is why it's crucial when you build your threat intelligence program to find this type of things. Another thing that's important about digital footprint is not only to monitor it, but also to clean it. Okay? And this is something that it's kind of switch we need to do in our mindset when collecting data off the web. We don't need to take the fact that the information is out there for granted. Okay? Take Pastebin, for example. Okay? There are many interesting stuff on Pastebin that can help me in attacking a specific company. Credentials, email addresses, maybe technical information about this specific company. Many stuff that when I'm coming to attack a company, I will look for first thing on Pastebin and will utilize it on my next attack. So let's say we have monitoring in place, we detected it. We also need to take the proactive approach of taking it down. And I can tell, for example, Pastebin, okay, if you know how to work with them, develop relationship, you can have these type of things taken down in less than 24 hours. I can tell you that, when we built our platform, so one of the first things we said is that we need to have one click of a button to take these type of things down. So the customer can click and we'll have it taken down. Because it's not only about monitoring and not only about knowing about things, about how you're exposed. It's not only about to know what you look from the outside and what a potential attacker can utilize based on the things you can find outside, but it's actually making sure you can take it down. So one of the more messages I want to convey here is that it's very important to take the proactive approach all the way to the end. Not only monitoring, looking for what can be found out there, but also to take it down when you can. You not always can. On the dark web, it's not that easy. But when you can take it down, take it down. Hide the exploitable data that's exposed publicly. Take down the paste bin that provides information and private details about your executives. Take the proactive approach to the end and take down all the sensitive information that's being published out there. So that's, it's not only about monitoring, but actually cleaning. Step 3, okay, monitor the dark web. And that, I would say, is something that's not that obvious. And like I said at the beginning, when you tell people I monitor the dark web to protect myself against nation-state attacks, they would say, don't waste your time. There's nothing there. They don't hang in there. They don't publish stuff there. They don't talk there. They have their own environments, own internal networks where they collaborate, plan. They're developing everything in-house, so they have no reason to do it outside. So the answer is no. And I would like to start with a short explanation, okay, to make sure you understand, what is the dark web and why is it interesting. And then I will show you examples of nation states actually, going to dark web forums, talking, collaborating, doing all type of things, okay? A few words about the dark web. So the internet can be divided into 3 parts: clear web, deep web, and dark web. Clear web is what's on the surface, can be found by search engines, by Google. Deep web would be places that cannot be detected by Google. Okay, so all this part is the deep web, and under deep web we have the dark web. Okay, dark web are actually, it's a set of dark nets, dark networks. Okay, that you need a special technology or special means in order to get inside and collaborate with people and talk to people and go into websites and into forums. Okay, and what's so special about the dark web is that once you're inside and you use this technology to get inside and use the special measures to get inside, you have completely anonymity. And I want to tell you one thing, the first number 1 interest of an attacker is anonymity. I will even tell you more. The first interest of a nation-state attacker is anonymity. When nation-state is doing an attack, okay, so the first thing they want to make sure is that they're not exposed. The tools are not exposed, their plans are not exposed, their methods are not exposed. So the first thing to know, to make sure, is that no one knows what I'm doing. And that even if someone catches me, he cannot attribute it to me. Okay? If, I don't know, Russia is attacking the United States, I don't know. Okay? They don't want it to be attributed for them. Not necessarily. But they want to make sure they're anonymous. And that's something that's related to cyber criminals and nation-state attack as well. So in the dark web, in the dark nets there, once you get inside, you're anonymous. So this is why it became a huge criminal hub, attracting cyber criminals from all places around the world to come inside. They know they're anonymous. They can do business, sell services, hacking services, sells goods, accounts, credentials, credit cards, all type of things, knowing that they're anonymous. No one can, go trace them back. No one can attribute the actions to them, so they're safe. This is why it's become such an important place where cyber criminals collaborate, talk, and do business at the end of the day. Okay. So first thing, okay, nations and intelligence organizations are in the dark web. I can promise you that. Okay, that's one. They're there. what are they doing there? A few things. First, recruiting or hiring. So, I would say that, very sophisticated intelligence organizations probably won't recruit through the dark web, okay? But I can definitely tell you that probably every nation state would do it to some extent. And I can tell you that, if you want to look for good hackers, the dark web is a great place to get inside and find this type of people. And it's very easy to know, what is the expertise of each person on the dark web, on this forum, and things like that. So it's actually a platform for recruiting or hiring people. Second thing, nations that are looking on the dark web is 0 days. 0 days is something it's very hard to find. Very hard. You can spend years. A researcher can spend years finding 1 to 0 day, okay, for a specific operating system. It's something that's extremely hard to find and detect. And if you want to do it by yourself, first of all, not always you have the expertise, okay? And it would cost you like, millions even to find something like that. So this is why nation state many times go to the dark web to purchase 0 days. Why would I develop it by myself? If I can just, go in there, publish a post, and someone will get back to me with 0 day. I will pay for it $500,000, okay? And that's it. And I can have it immediately. So many organizations, I would say, even, the less sophisticated nation-state attackers, but not only, would go into these forums to find 0 days that would help them on their attack, building their infrastructure. So that's two. The third thing, and this is, I can tell you, I'm pretty certain that probably every state have, some type of intelligence people going to the dark web, staying up to date. What are the latest vulnerabilities, attack vectors, how cyber criminals are doing today, to learn from them. Learn from them their techniques. Even consult with them, right? I want to attack a specific piece of software. I can talk to people. What do you say? How would you do it? Things like that. So many times you can use the dark web as this cyber criminal hub to talk to people and staying up to date on what is happening today around the world, what is the most trending vulnerabilities, most trending attack vectors, most trending attack methods, and learn from that yourself. Okay. And you can see here an example, by the way, of an Iranian attacker that was detected on a silence report last year, I think, talking on the dark web. Okay. Let's talk about recruiting. Okay, so like I said, in the dark web you have many hackers, going around. Probably some of them are related to your state, to your nation. You can use it as a platform to recruit them. Okay, and I can tell you, take this example from a Mandiant report, where the Chinese government actually published posts, even not on the dark web. Okay, you could have found it by Google search. You would go to a post where they published, okay, we're hiring. I can tell you that in Israel it's not a secret. Okay, there's also a challenge. Many times, they publish a challenge. Okay, and whoever can, make it through the challenge, you're in. Things like that. And, wow, the timekeeper is tough. And many times, they publish it on the web or in the dark web places where they know there are like hackers that they could hire, and they will recruit them. So the first presence of a nation on the dark web would be, trying to recruit people to be part of their part of the army, right? And the best place to find this type of people is on the dark web. So the first step would be, recruiting. Another thing that a nation state might do on the dark web is outsourcing. That's also a possibility. And just, it was about a year ago, so the Enigma forum was exposed publicly. Okay, on Krebs Security exposed it. And Enigma forum was a forum where you can just, upload a bid for any attack you would like. Okay, so you can say, okay, I want data from HSBC UK. Okay, and this is how much I'm willing to pay for that. And you would wait for hackers to come and offer their services. Business. Yeah, business as usual. So here you can see, by the way, a post that one of the members of the forum, of this forum, published, saying, Ashley Madison, need data and service. PM me, PM meaning private message, ASAP if you have it. Don't waste time if you don't know what I'm talking about. Big job, big opportunity. This was published. Do you know when was the Ashley Madison hack was? This was published, I think, like a month before. I don't know if it's related. I don't know. Okay, I have no idea. But, it raised a red flag. So these types of forums, these places, are used for nation state to, outsource some of their operations. Okay? Not only nation state, by the way, but as well. And how do I know that on these forums there were nations and not only like regular cyber criminals? How do I know that? Or the bigger question that needs to be asked is, okay, you're saying you can find nation state. How can you identify them? You get into a forum. They look like everyone. Everyone has a profile. Everyone is talking. Everyone is publishing stuff. They don't say, hi, it's Russia here. I need the 0 days. Right? It doesn't work like that. They want to keep their anonymity, like every cyber criminal does. So the question that needed to be asked is, how, when I tell you there are also nations here inside this forum, how can I identify them? How can I tell they're not regular cyber criminals? How I can tell that it's not a 15 years old sitting in his mother's basement and doing nonsense for fun? How I can tell it's the real stuff, right? So I want to give you a few tips on how to detect this type of stuff, very much based on our research at Insights, on how you can detect them and differentiate them. So nation-state actors have a very specific footprint in forums that can be identified. First of all, very few posts. Okay, they're not into hanging out, talking to people, things like that. They have a very specific goal, and they get into the forum to get this goal. Very specific. So usually, you'll find they have very few posts. Second, very laconic, very straightforward. Don't bullshit me. Okay, this is what I need. Help me with that. Okay, so let's read this. This, by the way, was taken. This was published a couple of months ago. Okay, March 31st, on one of the, more notable Russian underground forums. A forum that you need to go through a long vetting process to get inside and get all the data. So, part of our team, what it does in the last year was actually doing all the process in order to get inside. And this post we found, a couple months ago, March 31st. Someone called himself Vulns, meaning vulnerabilities. And he says, details in the signature, interested in everything, including an interesting software, the priority, the 1 day, 0 day exploits, the initial budget of $500K. This is not the budget of a 15 years old sitting in his mother's basement. I can tell you that. Okay, this is a budget of someone who has lots of money. So one of the things that can help you identify is unlimited budget. Okay? They know, nation states know, they need to attack. They need to get their intelligence via cyber operations. They need 0 days to do that. Okay? They need exploits. Okay? And developing it yourself can cost them, I told you, millions, $100,000 to millions. So it completely makes sense for them to go and buy something like that in $500K. And so they usually are willing to pay a lot of money, okay, in order to get what they want. Take Enigma, for example. Here, there were people. There were profiles on this form specific that would tell you, I don't care about the budget. I want it done. Okay, tell me how much it would cost. And people would throw numbers that you won't believe. So this is part of how I can tell it's a nation state. They also don't contribute a lot, okay? Because they don't care. They just want to get things. They're not into give and take. They this is what we want, and they would look a lot for 0 days, because that's something that's a lot harder to develop. So usually they would develop their own, let's say Trojans, but 0 days, they would prefer to purchase it because it's really hard to find. So, take this guy for example. Okay, we said he has a very high budget. Okay, so he published here his Bitcoin wallet. I don't know if you're aware of how Bitcoin transactions work with the blockchains, but you can actually take each wallet and track all the transactions from this wallet. Okay? So what we did, we took his wallet and investigated it. And his wallet received 366 Bitcoins. Do you know how much it is in dollars? Sorry. That's the number. Over $1 million in Bitcoins. This guy. So I cannot prove it's a cyber criminal. But if you listen carefully and you investigate and you look carefully at the details, you could definitely tell that a person that's looking for 0 days have over $1 million in Bitcoins in his wallet, okay, that he can pay for things. He publishes Bitcoin wallet on the forum, so every cyber criminal can check, and they know how to check how much money they have. So he can check and see that he has over $1 million. Okay, he's not hiding it, right? Usually in business, you don't expose how much money you have, right? You don't expose your budget, but they expose how much money they have. They're not ashamed of it. Looking for 0 days. All their posts are about I want vulnerabilities. Okay, I want hacking services. So probably a nation state. Cannot prove it, but fair assumption. Okay. So it's a very important, like I said, to monitor the dark web and detect what nation states are looking after, what type of exploits. Many times, yes, they would publish their target sometimes when they want specific job done against a very specific organization. Many times they would publish the target, and they would do their whole bunch of stuff, from hiring to recruiting to outsourcing to buying vulnerabilities to staying up to date. Okay, everything they can get from this very important criminal hub. So we're very short on time, so let's get to the last step. The last step would be weapon deployment. And this is also a very important concept, okay? Because you need to understand, even if someone is collaborating, planning, developing tools in a very closed environment, closed network that you cannot get access to, your organization is on the surface. your organization is not in a closed place. In order to get to your organization, you need to go up to the surface to pull your attack. Many times, the weapons that you would use against a specific organization would have to leave footprints on the surface. This is why it's very important to not only monitor for what is his plans, motivations, and what type of things he can potentially find and make use of on his next attack. Monitor your digital footprint, but also monitoring weapons of nation states. So take, for example, something very common. I want to pull off a phishing attack to infect someone with malware. So one of the most common ways to do it would be to open a fake domain, similar to this organization's domain, and pull an attack using this domain, sending phishing email from this domain. So let's show you an example, okay? And I really have 2 minutes. Okay. I don't know. Take this domain, for example. CNN.com. Okay? Someone registered it. That's one. Okay? If we'll go to the website, you'll see it's some kind of promotion. Yeah, someone purchased it, so you'll click CNN.com, possibly mistype and add another, and you'll get to his website, you'll get commercial law, he makes money, right? Well, not completely. Because if we look at this domain, at his DNS records, you'll be able to see that he has an MX record. MX record means that whoever bought this domain didn't do it just to upload a website behind it. He did it also to send emails from this domain. Who would like to send emails from CNN.com? Okay? I don't know. It's speculations. Okay? But when an attacker wants to pull off an attack, not talking about this domain specific, okay? But when an attacker wants to pull off an attack and pretend to be a specific organization, you'll register a domain very similar and open an email very similar to the CEO email and send emails. Okay, so this is a weapon. This domain is a weapon. Same goes to fake mobile applications. It's a weapon. And if they want to infect someone with mobile application, they need to upload an application to the surface. Same goes to fake profiles on social media. And there was actually a big publication about Iran using fake profiles as part of their attacks and part of their phishing efforts. Okay? And so also, monitoring the weapons that go up to the surface, that's something very important in order to identify these attacks before they occur. Just to summarize, I have 1 minute. So if we go back to the process of reconnaissance of a nation-state attack, so we actually pointed out a few techniques that can help you influence or identify each of these phases. So choosing the target. So you should do benchmark. So they would choose a different target. You should search for your digital footprint, exploitable data leakage. So you can tell how you look from the outside and hide things so they won't choose you as a target. You should do dark web monitoring, okay, to understand what types of tools and vulnerabilities they're looking for and what type of exploits they're looking for. You need to identify their infrastructure, to identify domains, phishing domains they're using, mobile fake application, fake social media profiles. Okay? And you also need to do exploitable data and data leakage to understand how they would do reconnaissance and what they would find while doing reconnaissance, and prepare your organization for someone finding these type of things and building his next attack based on that. So you can see from, a notion saying, I cannot do anything about nation-state attacks with open source intelligence, there's actually a bunch of stuff you can do. And when you build a mature threat intelligence program, you have to make sure that it also helps you fight against nation-state attacks, not only cyber criminals. This is something very important, and the 4 steps we described are the 4 steps that I think need to be taken in order to pull it off. Okay, any questions? Although we don't have time, right? Maybe one question? One question. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like the honor among thieves thing. I don't know how the jargon works, but if someone was to say, I'm going to pay you $10 million to do something, and that other person actually delivers on that, why do they ever get paid? What's the motivation to pay that person?
Yeah, so many times it's like, give me a proof you have something, give you a small amount, and it's step by step. And there is also a lot of matter of reputation. In the dark web, reputation is something that's extremely important. Okay? If you have low reputation, no one will do business with you. There are even black markets that works exactly like eBay. You have a reputation, people give you score, things like that. And if you have a low reputation, no one will buy from you anything. So the reputation is something very important. And also there is like this step-by-step process. Give you a bit money, you give me some, give me more, till you get everything. Okay? Okay, I'm sorry, we need to finish. Thank you.